You're gonna need me on this one, Master.
Oh, I agree. However, it may turn out just to be a wild panther chase.
Master, I've disappointed you. I haven't been very appreciative of your training. I've been arrogant, and I apologize. I've just been so frustrated with the Council.
You are strong and wise, Anakin, and I am very proud of you. I have trained you since you were a small boy. I have taught you everything I know, and you have become a far greater Jedi than I could ever hope to be. But be patient, Anakin. It will not be long before the Council makes you a Jedi Master.
Obi-Wan, may the Force be with you.
Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. My name's Kristen.
And I'm Danny. And welcome back, Kristen.
Yay!
Last week, Anna joined me for the show, and so it's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
She did awesome in your stead and everything. Definitely looking forward to more in the future for all of us to join together.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. But without further ado, I think we should go ahead and get into the news because we got a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, we sure do. Let's get started.
We have something to report.
Absolutely. So the first piece of news that we have, Episode 9 has wrapped principal photography. Oh my gosh! I'm so excited to just to see what J.J. Abrams is doing through this. To kind of, if you haven't seen it, for one, the picture is beautiful. It's of Daisy, John, and Oscar all hugging, and it looks emotional. And obviously, it's on the set, so I've been trying to go over it with a microscope to find anything. No luck yet. But it looks really cool, really exciting. But JJ tweeted and Instagrammed and Facebook the whole thing with the caption, "It feels impossible, but today wrapped photography on episode 9. There is no adequate way to thank this truly magical crew and cast. I'm forever indebted to you all."
Love JJ.
Yes. So what do you feel like you're most excited about for episode 9?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen anything about it yet, really. We don't even really...
Well, speculate, theorize.
I can't speculate.
I feel like both of us live with a tinfoil hat on, so...
Yeah, but I don't know. They're not my own thoughts right now. It's just stuff that I've kind of found on the internet, on the deep dark web.
So I know this is dangerous, but... Well, for some people, for us, it's fine. But so what is one thing out of seeing Force Awakens and Last Jedi that you feel you want to see in episode 9? See continue, resolve, whatever.
I guess I need this whole Reylo thing to end.
To end.
Yeah, because obviously I'm not a fan of it. I don't ship it. So I just need her to be like, we are never ever getting back together. I just need her to be like that, pull a Taylor real quick and just
start dancing in the middle for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
We are never getting back together.
I dig it.
Ever.
I think I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with Kylo. With now him being kind of unhinged and off the leash, and I'm interested to see, I guess, what's gonna happen with him.
Yeah.
Because it could go a lot of different ways. Also, Knights of Ren. I need them.
Oh yeah, we got to see some Knights of Ren. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in Kylo too. I don't know. I felt like the last movie he had a little temper tantrum.
A little.
And I don't know. I just feel like I need to see a more thought out Kylo. A more
set in my ways, this is me kind of.
Yeah, fire all my weapons at one guy who actually is a hologram.
Joke's on you.
Right. He's a ghost or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
don't know. I need him to be more scary.
Well, and I feel like, and without getting, I guess, too deep into it, but I feel like Anakin kind of took a lot of the path that we're seeing with Kylo, where it was unbridled rage with the Tusken Raiders and everything that he killed and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden in Revenge of the Sith on into the original trilogy, there was the resolve of, I am me. This is who I've become. There is no Anakin Skywalker. I killed Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Which I think is the path that Kylo's running down right now.
Right, he's like, I killed Ben.
Yeah, I killed Ben Solo.
Yeah.
He was weak. Kind of like what he tells, I almost said Harrison Ford, Han. Not wrong, but Han on the bridge in The Force Awakens. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see where he's going to be. I saw some fan art of a shaved head Kylo.
Yeah, and I know everyone's well, not everyone. I know there's a lot of people wanting that redemption. That, oh, he's still got the good inside of him, turn, be good. But then I feel like if he turns, like, who's going to be the next big bad? Like, I'm kind of...
Well, this is the end of the story.
What's what I'm saying.
So, yeah.
Like,
well, the Skywalker story.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you going to introduce somebody bad in the last movie? Because Snoke's...
Hey, I mean, he's got to be the villain at this point.
Snoke's kind of dead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nobody else I feel like that could just... No, Maul's dead. Never mind. I was like, unless Maul just made like a crazy
You really want him to be alive.
No, I just like, he just keeps showing up. No, you can't act like I'm wrong.
You're right.
You think the man's dead like 3 times and he shows up. He just keeps showing up.
Yeah. Death just doesn't suit him.
No, it doesn't. I feel like we need to replace the Where's Waldo, Where's Maul?
Oh, man.
Or something. Like, where's Maul? There he is.
There he is. Oh, you were there all the whole time.
Right.
But no, I mean, I agree. I think that Kylo will be the villain. You can't introduce somebody else at the very, very end, which I say that, but at the same time, Return of the Jedi kind of did that with the Emperor. He was, I think, kind of introduced in Empire Strikes Back in a hologram.
Yeah.
And then Return of the Jedi, he arrived. So, I mean, I guess there can be bigger, badder than Kylo. But I don't know. I want to see Kylo be Kylo, you know? I think he's past the point of redemption at this point. And it's not necessarily that he cannot be redeemed. I don't think he wants to. I think he's found it. I'm done. Like, this is it.
Yeah. Kind of agree. I mean, after you kind of killed your father, it's like you just took a whole new step.
Yeah, and then his girl broke up with him. Like, I mean, it's hard to get past.
Yeah, it really is. But I don't know. Like,
she literally slammed a door in his face.
Yeah,
so.
Legit. So, I mean, I know people want that, like, redemption for him. But at the same time, I just don't see an enjoyable movie with redemption like that.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Not unless, like... Because normally, and you can't like I'm wrong, if he were to do that, he would have to, like... It would end up being, like, a sacrificial thing. And you know it. Like, once somebody goes too far past a level, in order to even redeem themselves, they have to, like, sacrifice something in order to get themselves back on the good side. So, like, he'd have to sacrifice, like, himself to something else bad or something like that in order to be like, no.
Which is what Vader did in Return of the Jedi. So we may see it come full circle. Because, like, I mean, if you think about it, if Vader had survived, like, was he just gonna waltz back up to the rebels and be like, hey, yo, my bad.
Sorry, I killed a lot of your people.
Yeah, that whole Alderaan thing, my fault. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that we probably will see a lot of stuff reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, because I mean, the way the trilogy's been formulating, I mean, it takes a lot of key points from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But it's hero storytelling.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So yeah. So I think we will see a lot of Return of the Jedi and all that kind of stuff, which will be really cool. But I'm really excited, especially now that principal photography is over. So shooting, as of right now, is done. They're into editing. It's almost here.
I know.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited, honestly. I'm ready to get more info on it. Like, to see trailers, to see, like, spots, like TV spots and stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
43 days.
Yeah.
43 days, and we'll be at Star Wars Celebration Chicago, where we will likely get our first episode 9 trailer.
Yeah.
You're not excited.
No, I am excited.
I'm just teasing.
I'm like cheesing super hard over here. I'm so excited.
I'm very pumped, especially with the art that they've been releasing here in the last few days, available for pre-order for people who actually get to go to Celebration and got tickets and stuff like that and everything. A lot of it's really cool. Like there's one that's called The Good in Him. That's like Padme, but like there's like a hint, like a ghost of Vader.
Yeah, it took me a minute because you sent it to me.
Yeah.
And I like looked at it on my phone and I was kind of like, okay.
It hurt my heart.
Well, I didn't see it. And then like later that night when I got home from work, you were like, look at this. And I was like, I saw it. And you're like, no, but look at it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. Exactly how it went.
That's exactly how it went. Real life reenactment.
Might be slightly dramatized.
Right. But there was a lot of cool stuff that they've been releasing and everything. So I'm really excited to see what else comes from it because we're getting more and more guest announcements, all that kind of stuff. So 43 days. Star Wars Celebration. Oh my God. We'll be in Chicago. I'm so excited.
I think I'm just going to run around the little stadium thing like a mad person.
You're going to finally see the panel schedule and like all the things, and you're going to be like, I'm going to do this. But
No.
Kristen, they're happening all at the same time.
No,
I don't care.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You took what I said out of context.
Oh, okay.
I don't literally mean running like to go do everything. I meant just physically run around it. Like just run in circles around all of it.
Just overwhelmed with excitement.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I should have clarified that because you totally thought I meant like I'm going to be running from panel to panel. No. I mean just physically running around the arena or whatever the heck this thing is. Just like make circles around everybody.
I just got a visual of you running through. Just be like, going back and
Precisely.
forth.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's like, did somebody see that screaming lady run through? Oh, that was just Kristen. Just pay her no attention.
Yeah, she's on her 7th lap. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I want to see that. That's going to happen.
I need to come up with something comical to wear.
Comical. I don't know. A lot of people are pulling for Lumpy.
I cannot pull that off. I cannot pull that off.
I think you could pull it off.
I have 40-something days. I cannot pull that off.
That's true. The time frame is kind of short. All right, so our next piece of news that we have, announcing Triple Force Friday.
Yeah, this one's going to be pretty exciting. So in the past, Force Fridays, they've just released like one featured product.
So like Last Jedi, TFA.
Yeah. But this year...
It's triple the fun.
It's... Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So, we're getting 3 things this year.
Yes!
Pretty exciting. So, obviously, Triple Force Friday. We'll be getting Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
The Mandalorian.
Yes.
As well as Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes!
And it all kicks off on October 4th.
Ooh. Which, by the way, kind of gives you an idea of when these things are going to be releasing.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any information on The Mandalorian, or literally this is the second time I've heard Jedi Fallen Order even be mentioned in like the last
video game,
year.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one where it's like post Order 66, like you're running from the army and everything. Like you're
clones,
you were on the run, yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like this like real world, well not real world, but like RPG kind of thing, like open world kind of deal.
Yeah.
If it's October 4th, I wonder if we're getting like The Mandalorian, the game, all this other kind of stuff. Probably like in time for Christmas kind of thing.
I mean, definitely Episode 9 because I feel like that's tradition.
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
that's not negotiable.
Right.
I feel like it'd be a little much to release all of it in like November, December, considering we're getting that in October, unless they plan on releasing like the video game like a couple weeks in October.
Well, if you think about it, so like going by fall TV schedules, like when premieres happen and things like that, it's normally about the first or second week of October. For some shows, you got like September, October, around that time. And so October 4th, if The Mandalorian's happening, it's either going to be September or right after this or right on this, October. But just kind of looking at like the release for these things, because I mean, you're looking at like toys, clothes. I mean, they even mentioned home goods in this, with themed around the show, the movie, and the video game and everything. And so I think it's going to be really cool, because if this is around the release time, or at least shortly before, then that means we're going to get information on The Mandalorian. It could already be in progress at that point.
Could be.
We'll at least get information on Jedi Fallen Order. Because if this is kind of like ahead of it, hey, here's some stuff for the game, could either be in progress, or normally these games come out around November-ish and stuff like that.
I feel like the game will probably come out first, though, because, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the time with what happens with most video games is the game comes out to make sure it's successful, and then they release product once it is. Like,
Sometimes.
Am I wrong? I thought Fortnite did it that way. I thought Fortnite was like, hey, here's the game, and then it was like,
Fortnite,
boom!
Yeah, well, Fortnite came out free, and then it got really, really popular, so that's why it did it that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that it intended on being that way.
Maybe not, but now there's like
if you're Call of Duty,
and shirts
right,
and stuff like that.
But if you're Call of Duty and all these other ones and stuff like that, like God of War and
That's
all these,
different to me, though. Those
they'll
are like...
pre-release ahead of time. But I mean, you're talking about Star Wars here, though. So I mean, Star Wars alone, just the name.
But we don't know what characters.
True.
That's the thing, is you don't know what... Then if they release things early than the video game, you'll spoil it.
I see what you're saying.
So I feel like they have to do the game first and then do other stuff. So I feel like the game will probably come out maybe beginning of September, if not middle.
Okay.
Give it a few weeks and then release all that stuff in October. Because, I mean, it's not going to be like Anakin in the game.
Well,
It's going to be characters we don't know.
No, you'll be running from Anakin.
Exactly. So, I mean, I feel like it just makes sense to do it that way.
There's too many of them.
But, I mean, the things you're referring to, like God of War and Call of Duty stuff, that's stuff that's been out for years now. So it makes sense to push product with it. Because people have been playing Call of Duty once since, like, 2008. Or whenever it released. I don't know. But
just throwing out random stuff.
Yeah, just throwing a random date out there. But I'm just saying, like, it's been out.
I got you.
So...
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, for this one, we may be seeing September releases for the game of Mandalorian, which would be really cool.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because I think as far as, like, withholding stuff and everything, I mean, we'll get a little information with Episode 9, but by then we'll have at least 2 or 3 trailers, too. So...
Yeah, I mean, we'll know more at Celebration, too, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll give us a bit more concrete.
Ooh, I would love to see, like, previews of these toys and things like that. I wonder...
They're not going to give us previews of some of the toys.
No. Hold on. Because remember, Battlefront 2, they released a trailer of it, Celebration 2 years ago. What if they do that for Fallen Order? What if that's why it's in Triple Force Friday? Boom!
Okay. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But it's fine.
So yeah, so that may be like the game they go for this and everything. But I mean, we're going to get a little bit of everything at Celebration as far as like getting to see probably the first stuff for the Mandalorian and all that kind of stuff and everything too. Man, I could just talk about Celebration all day. I'm so excited.
They need like a video game. Oh crap.
You lost it.
I was going to say expose, but it's not really what I was going for.
Just an expo.
I don't know. Like, I'm probably using that word wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, expo would be, if it's what you're thinking. It makes me think of Stark Expo, where he like brings all the suits out and stuff like that and all the technology.
Oh, no.
Like a game expo?
Okay, then I'm thinking wrong then.
Okay.
I was talking more of like a panel.
Oh,
and they need to be like, all right, Star Wars fans, what do you want?
That would be cool. Kind of more like a round table kind of deal.
Yeah.
That could be dangerous, though.
It could be, honestly.
All you're going to hear is a lot of, like, Revan. You'll hear that over and over again. Old Republic.
I want to stop dying in Battlefront. I need to be unkillable. As a battle droid, I want to jump 10 feet in the air.
Right. It still, like, baffles me when I still see complaints about microtransactions for Battlefront from people who have yet to play Battlefront since they've taken the microtransactions out. Because like the only microtransaction stuff that you have right now is skins. It's cosmetic, so it doesn't make you better. Nothing about it helps in any way. It's just like,
look cooler.
Yeah, hey, I want to look like the 501st. Boom, you can look like the 501st.
I'm pretty
Things
sure
like
that's
that.
every game though.
It's starting to become a trend. Overwatch was one that did it kind of before a lot of games, where it was purely cosmetic and it was based on skill.
Pretty sure like Black Ops did it too.
Did it?
I don't know for
I know
sure.
you got more into that kind of more than Black Ops.
It may never actually technically cost money. It may have cost like the game credits, but obviously in most games you can pay money for the game credits. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like they had skins and stuff like that, but then even like in Fortnite, they have like the winter bundle and stuff like that.
Right.
But it still has nothing to do with skill. It just depends on how you want to look.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of the backlash with Battlefront 2 came from the fact that it almost was pay to win for a moment. Yeah. Because you could get things that would advance you in the game and all this other kind of stuff. But they took it out at launch. Right. Like it was like, oh, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Y'all got really angry. Okay.
But I still see complaints about that all over the web. Like, oh, they ruined Battlefront 2 because of the microtransactions. Like, they weren't even there at launch, dude. Like, it's a fun game. Like, it's a lot of fun.
They made a mistake and then they fixed it.
The Geonosis update, all this other kind of stuff is freaking awesome. It's so vast and big that I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just surviving.
Oh, I know. I hadn't played it a second time. I remember I got pretty far in it, and I think my team lost or something. Yeah. But literally, it's like you're not even on the same map. No. Because you just keep going.
It's just so big where you're just kind of like, there's dust and carnage everywhere. What am I doing?
Just,
what's happening?
Running.
I still don't know the objective.
I don't either.
I just knew if I failed it or not.
Exactly. Yeah. We need to play it.
We do need to play it. I think that'd be cool. Now you want to play it, don't you?
I do really bad.
But lastly, speaking of Battlefront, the Chosen One, as of the release of this episode, the Chosen One update is coming out with none other than General Anakin Skywalker.
Whoop whoop!
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
Oh, one thing that I read from the developers that was really cool. Anakin's character has the same walk as Darth Vader in the game. They walk the exact same way. And it's just like, yes!
That's cool. That's cool. I was about to say, I wonder how that is, like, somebody being Anakin and somebody being Vader.
Yeah. Oh, I think there was something that came out where it was like, I wonder if you could play Anakin versus Vader and stuff like that would be cool.
Because, I mean, Anakin's obviously on the good side, right? Okay, so I thought.
Yeah.
Makes sense, because for the most time as Anakin, he was.
Right. So it's just kind of like, interesting.
Because we wondered about that. I think we talked about skins and stuff at one point and wondering if they were going to give Vader, anything else. I mean, obviously
like
Vader
an Anakin
doesn't.
Skin or something. Yeah,
because I think we talked about that. Because obviously it's not like Vader's got a closet of outfits.
True.
Where he just likes to change his cape every now and then to a different color or something.
Not like our other friend, Mr. Calrissian.
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't really, change his wardrobe very often. So, I think we talked about like what they could do with that character, and we wondered if they would make him like an Anakin,
right? Like
skin or something.
And I wonder as far as skins go with the Anakin thing, and I don't remember reading this anywhere, but I wonder if they're going to do like what they did with Obi-Wan. They gave him a robe, and then another one they gave him his Clone Wars armor. And so I wonder if we'll get the same kind of thing, but the robe with Anakin, though, would be more like the end of Revenge of the Sith, where he's charging the temple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Anakin and get to play him and everything. Because like I said, as of the release of this episode, the Chosen One update will be live, and we'll be live streaming that night, guys. So watch our socials and stuff like that for the exact time. And come play Battlefront with us. It'll be awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah, so cool. So that's all the news that we have. Kristen, we actually have a listener comment this week.
We sure do.
Yay!
So our Instagram comment comes from Back Attack Productions. Guess I should have said the @, before that. The @Back Attack, whatever.
@Back Attack.
Just add the little @ sign. You understand how Instagram works, right? I don't.
Right.
And they asked, what do you think is the second most important part of the last decade of Star Wars animation, besides Dave Filoni? Voice actors, actresses, music, or animation design? For me, I wouldn't say animation design, because I feel like there's been so many types of different animation at this point that it's not the same. So you really can't compare like apples and oranges here. Or that's what you'd be doing, is comparing apples and oranges, because they're so different. To me, I kind of about music, because I feel like music kind of gives it everything. I mean, because I feel like, yeah, you can have, like, Sam Witwer saying this really creepy line or something, but if there's, like, not the right, like, feeling or music or something behind it, then it won't sink in, right?
In a lot of ways, it can give it life.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and music's been a really big part of Star Wars, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Like the music is, I'm not going to say it's everything, obviously, because the movies.
But it's most of it.
But it's a lot of it. Like, you can't sit there and say that you don't, get all giddy and stuff when you hear, the intro music for Star Wars. And then you're like, what? Where's Star Wars on at?
Right.
Like, so you can't pretend that, like, it's not a big part of it.
Right.
So, and it's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes Star Wars to me.
I completely agree.
So,
yeah.
What do you think, Danny? What was your response to that? Do you want me to read it again to you?
No. I mean, as far as the second most important, so just besides Dave Filoni, I would agree the music does have a huge part in it, but I do also feel like, as far as the music bringing life to it, the voice actors and actresses bring a lot of life to it too. And so without
most definitely.
And not saying that you were omitting that, but at the same time, like it's interesting seeing, especially like when you get to where Maul was brought into Solo and everything. How you mix it with Ray Park and Sam Witwer, and I mean, just Sam Witwer's performance with Maul. It's one that will always just like chill my blood. Like it's just it's creepy, but it's impressive. And I mean, even with Hera, her convictions, Kanan, and just generally in everything. I mean, even Matt Lanter with Anakin Skywalker, he brought a lot of life to Anakin that was not previously seen on screen and everything. And so I feel like without the voice actresses and actors, it really kind of it all goes hand in hand with it. But those actors and actresses really brought a lot to those characters.
You know which actor really makes Star Wars?
Who?
James Earl Taylor.
You're right.
Because he's like 16 characters.
He really is.
He is a Star Wars.
He is a Star Wars.
He can record a whole episode by himself.
That's the next Star Wars story. James Earl Taylor, a Star Wars story.
Like, would anybody else just like to see like one random episode like just released and it's just James Earl Taylor playing all the voices? Like all the voices. Like,
right.
It could be Obi-Wan, obviously, and then like just a couple of villains, and then whoever else he plays, you know what I'm saying? And just bring all those people in, then he's just like having a full dialogue with himself.
Yeah, I think that's what cracked me up the most about the Citadel episode that we watched with Cheyenne, where it was literally like, I mean, it was the James Earl Taylor show. That's what it was.
Much.
He was most of the characters on that screen at any given time.
Like, it doesn't have to be a full episode. Like, I would take just like a few scenes.
Right.
Like, with
just James Earl Taylor talking to himself.
Yeah, with like multiple other characters. Like,
absolutely.
Roundtable discussion.
Roundtable. Oh, my goodness. But yeah, so thank you for sending that in, Back Attack Productions. We really appreciate it. I think he or she, I think they've brought in another question before. I think we've read another one of their questions, comments, or something before on the show. But yeah, if you want us to read a comment or a review or anything like that on the show, just find us on the socials at Kessel Run Weekly, or you can go to our website, kesselrunweekly.com. There's a contact form there that we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
So I think we're ready to jump into our main topic. What do you think, Danny?
I'm absolutely ready.
Alrighty, yay!
And now, our feature presentation.
So, I feel like this is kind of a given, considering what's going on in the gaming world, but we decided to do an episode on Anakin Skywalker.
Ooh, surprise!
I know, but I mean, here's the fun part though, is I feel like we've got a really good discussion in store for you guys, because we're not just going to be talking about that really basic stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. We're going to be kind of diving into the relationships.
Absolutely.
That Anakin had and stuff like that. Well,
and I feel like as impactful as the character Anakin Skywalker is, I feel like it's even more interesting how he affected those around him, whether negatively or positively, because a lot of what made Anakin was the relationships that he had.
Yeah.
And how he, whether that be unhealthy or not, how he allowed those to affect him as well.
Mom, we sold the pod. Look at all the money we have.
Oh my goodness, but that's so wonderful, Annie.
And he has been freed.
What?
You're no longer a slave.
Did you hear that?
Now you can make your dreams come true, Annie. You're free.
First off, I wanted to talk about Anakin before everything. So, Phantom Menace Anakin, from the beginning. I know you have a lot of feelings about young Annie and everything.
I do.
Generally, you do. So, first I want to talk about his relationship with Shmi, his mother.
Shmi.
I
think we did that last time, too.
So what are your thoughts on his relationship with his mom?
I mean, I feel like little boys always love their moms, obviously. I mean, they love their dads, too. But I feel like little boys are always, like, mama's boys, in a way. I feel like they always are going to have... Yeah, I mean, I feel like all boys are that way. Maybe, I don't know. I never really asked or took a poll or a survey or anything like that, so I have no facts to back my thoughts up here. But I just feel like, you know, especially with him being only child that we know of.
Only child. Only forced child.
That we know of. Anakin can have an older brother.
Actually, technically, he has a half-brother.
Oh my god. You stop it. You stop it. I've never thought about this before. Now my brain is just exploding right here. You stop it.
That's where the Lars Homestead comes in. So, yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, so, I mean, you know, he's definitely a mama's boy. He's an only child. I mean, he's got a cute little relationship with his mom. I mean, you can see how much he cares for his mom and how much he's willing to work to... I mean, because I feel like if Anakin would have never gone into, like, the Jedi, I feel like Anakin would have, like, worked until he could pay off, like, a way to get his mom out of slavery, essentially. Even if he had to stay in it the rest of his life. Like, he would have gotten his mom out of it somehow.
And he was such a selfless little boy, too.
He's willing to give everything.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Yeah.
To help anyone.
And in all honesty, it's in this moment when he's a little boy where you realize how much the Jedi code and that mold that they try to force him into throughout the entire series just doesn't work for him.
Yeah.
Because he loves deeply, and he cares about random strangers that he finds in a market.
Yeah.
Like, they just walked into a shop. That's it. Granted, one of them he felt was an angel. But, I mean, it's really cool kind of seeing just this selflessness that he has, wanting to help them. He's just like, well, Mom, you say that the biggest problem in this galaxy is that no one wants to help anybody. And she's just kind of like, I wish I would have never said that to you. But that's fine. Kind of like to eat your words.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's Anakin at his core, is that no matter what goes on with him, no matter what happened to him throughout his life, at his core, he loved, he cared. Whether that be unhealthily or not. So, but I feel like really Shmi kind of set the tone for him going forward as a really caring, loving little boy. And then we go to his relationship with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So he leaves his mother and goes with the Jedi. Obviously, Qui-Gon is killed by our favorite Sith.
Is he our favorite, though?
He's my favorite.
Okay, then. That's what I was sure.
Qui-Gon falls at the hands of Maul, and he is left to be trained by Obi-Wan. And so what do you feel like Obi-Wan kind of imparted on him and taught him? What part of him do you feel is Obi-Wan?
I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, obviously, from the beginning, Obi-Wan wasn't really a fan of taking this little boy with him. He was kind of like, Master, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and then Qui-Gon was killed, but obviously, Obi-Wan being a loyal Padawan to Qui-Gon wanted to fulfill his master's wish to train Anakin.
Yeah. Quick side note, you realize Obi-Wan called Anakin another pathetic life form in Phantom Menace, right? Have we picked up another pathetic life form after Jar Jar? So, he was really into Anakin. But anyways, proceed.
That's sad. But, you know, so he fulfilled what his, you know, Master Qui-Gon wanted, and took up the training for Anakin and trained him. And I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because even Obi-Wan, like throughout the movies and the show, he's always like, I don't ever really see like a comparison, I guess.
What do you mean?
Because they're so different to me. Like Obi-Wan's like, I'd more like rather stand back and take note. I mean, obviously he will jump in if he needs to jump in, like battle-wise and all that. But most part, he's really laid back, and he just would rather think about it before he does it. And Anakin's like, do first, think later.
Yeah.
So they're kind of
ask
opposite.
for forgiveness later.
Yeah, and so the whole time through the movies and the shows, Anakin is pulling these crazy stunts, and Obi-Wan's, oh, not again, or how did I know you would do that, or you know what I'm saying? Like he's always like trolling him for doing crazy stuff, essentially. And I just Anakin is just that one that just would rather go big, and Obi-Wan's not. So there's really not. I mean, obviously he's taught him stuff because he wouldn't know half the things he knows probably without him. But
right. Well, and so this is something that I guess kind of always bothered me about Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship is that so a lot of the things that we see Anakin go through. For example, referencing that same Citadel episode, he's talking to Tarkin, where he's talking about, I feel like the Jedi Code keeps us from victory often. Keeps us from doing what we have to do to achieve victory and everything. And so right there, it feels like he's adverse to the Jedi, where he's got Palpatine in his ear the whole time and things like that. And so he's forming his own thoughts. He's forming his own questions. Whereas these kid Padawans and stuff like that grew up as Jedi don't normally question it. It's kind of like, this is my life and this is how it's always been.
And that's because they didn't know anything of the outside world beforehand.
Right, and Anakin did.
They had no other teachings.
Right.
And Shmi was one of the ones who, taught him
to feel, to love. Yeah. Which is not typically, I mean, even though those are Jedi traits, they're not typically as intense, I guess. They're told to control their emotions.
They're taught compassion, not love.
Ooh, look at you. I like that.
It's compassion and love are different.
Yeah.
Compassion is just like a feeling.
Help your neighbor kind of.
Yeah. And love is a choice.
True.
So it's just like we should help those people.
Yeah. Not necessarily an attachment, I guess. Yeah,
exactly.
Because love is an attachment.
It's a choice to love something, and obviously that's an attachment, something too. Like,
right.
So,
because I mean, and we see even Obi-Wan with, oh man, I just lost her name. Satine.
Yeah, I was going to say it for you. I was this close to saying it before you, and I was being so proud of myself. Because you never forget anything.
But we see Obi-Wan with Satine, like, you see that he never actually let go of her.
He didn't.
That was an attachment, a love that he kept with him, and just told himself that he was okay, and told himself he moved on, which, when they're reunited, even down to the moment where Maul kills her, you can tell that's not just compassion for a fellow living thing.
Yeah.
You loved that woman.
That's that's the same thing too. I mean, not quite the same love, but he had a pretty crazy reaction when Qui-Gon died.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So you saw that anger come out of him. So
that was straight anger. That was one of the coolest fights too on screen.
Yeah, I mean, so you can't pretend that the Jedi don't have those feelings. Even if they were taken and raised from birth to do, say, and feel certain things, you can't act like they all were.
Right. And I believe that you're right, because I mean, we see that throughout the series. There's even one moment, I think it's the Lair of Grievous Clone Wars episodes, where a Padawan sees his master killed in front of him, same identical reaction. Because in all honesty, a lot of these Padawan to master relationships end up being as that of a parent. Even though they're like, oh no, I'm your master. We're not lovey-dovey. I'm not going to cuddle you at night when you have a nightmare, kind of thing like that. But it takes on that kind of parent, almost mentor kind of relationship, I guess.
Right.
Between them and everything. And feeling is there. One that always kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those like when you look at somebody, you're like, you know what? Maybe if your mama hugged you more. Talking about like Luminara and Barriss Offee, because we know how Barriss turned out as a traitor and everything.
Right.
There's an episode where Barriss and Ahsoka are basically trapped in a mountain, and Anakin's freaking out trying to figure out how to get them out, and Luminara's just let them be. They'll figure it out. They'll get it, and everything. And like Luminar is so sure of them that they'll figure it out and everything. It says one of those things is like, well, obviously your approach didn't work because Barriss didn't turn out quite like you hoped.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just interesting seeing. Like, I wonder if Obi-Wan had acknowledged Anakin's feelings more. Rather than saying be mindful of your feelings, suppress your feelings, things like that, instead of, hey, put it down, don't talk about it, it's all good, just let it go away, when he's poster child for things don't go away and everything. Because I mean, his ghost literally comes back to haunt him. Maul comes back to ruin his life and ruins it in the process. Literally takes him down to the bottom. It makes him a better Jedi for it and a better person overall, but at the same time, he experiences loss, but you can't lose something you were never attached to.
Yeah.
So
you're right. It's kind of funny too, talking about like how, Obi-Wan should have talked about his feelings, but I mean, you really can't blame Obi-Wan either though, because that's the way Obi-Wan was taught. That's the way the Jedi were. I mean, there's no fixing that, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you grew up with somebody who doesn't love you and then you, in turn, you don't know how to love, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you blame the person who doesn't know how to love, or do you blame the person that didn't love them?
True.
So, but I mean, I feel like as a whole, the Jedi need some therapists, though.
They need some help.
Yeah, they needed some, like, therapy sessions. Like, once a week, you go to therapy. And talk about your feelings.
Well, and what's cool is, and it's kind of like one of those too little too late kind of things, but I mean, Rey is probably the closest to Anakin that any Jedi has been, as far as, because Obi-Wan, at the direction of his teaching, tried to force Anakin into a mold that he knew worked for him, instead of acknowledging his fears and talking to him and being there for him, giving him that little extra,
right?
Instead of just going, no, you're a Jedi, don't do that. No, you're a Jedi, don't do that.
No, you're right.
Whereas now Rey is exemplifying those same things, even terrifies Luke to no end, which he was post-Jedi Order too, which kind of makes me kind of like, huh? But I mean, Rey, I mean, she's exemplifying the things that Anakin did, where he touched the dark side a few times. She has so far too, and she's still okay, because she knows that she is who she's gonna be. She has her identity. Even though she doesn't know who she is, she knows who she is.
Right.
If that makes sense. So yeah.
I guess that's weird to kind of say, but there's like no perfect Jedi.
There isn't. And I think that was a big downfall of the Jedi Order. Can't talk tonight. Where they were trying to create the perfect Jedi. And they were above it all, and nobody could tell them different and everything. It was the arrogance.
Yeah, because like, even if you did kind of what the Jedi wanted and they had children from birth go into the Jedi Order, there still was like a, I don't know, I guess like a disconnect in a way. And then if you took kids that were just young, I mean, I'm not saying that all of them are going to turn into Darth Vader, but I mean, then you still have like conflicts of teachings. And then if you have someone who like Rey, who just discovered she's got these powers, like what, almost 20 years into being?
Yeah,
I mean,
she's 19.
Then you're still
at the
gonna,
beginning of TVA.
then you're still gonna have like personal experience on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's no perfect Jedi.
And so that's why I'm interested to see what'll happen with Rey. It's gonna be exciting.
Him too. Hopefully.
Definitely.
I like her more.
But back to Anakin.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, that was me. I took you down that road.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so I mean, relationship with Obi-Wan, at first it almost seems like a father-son kind of relationship, just because of how young. Well, that's just kind of what you think, just because of how young he is. And then to me, it kind of turns into, more of like a brotherhood between them. And obviously, he yells at him when he is starting to turn. He's like, "You were like a brother to me."
Yeah. Well, and so it makes me wonder, too, because, I mean, in the Clone Wars, we do see when Obi-Wan fakes his death at the direction of Mace and all that. We see Anakin lose his mind. He is upset and everything. So you can tell he does care for Obi-Wan. But I wonder if by the end of Revenge of the Sith, what if Obi-Wan was the only one that felt that brotherhood? Because he's like, you were a brother, I loved you. Ooh, there's that love again. See, look, Jedi can't be without attachments. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that either, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But
it's like
I wonder if he
inhuman.
was the only one that was feeling that, and Anakin was just like, you know what, I'm done. But I mean, I can't imagine like not sharing parts of my life with my brother and everything, and having those moments where it's like the real talk, or like finding out big news and things like that, and keeping it to myself because it's a secret and Obi-Wan can't know, and all this other kind of stuff. Like, I wonder if by the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, Anakin didn't feel that brotherhood anymore, and at that point he was like, you know what, I'm done.
No, I think he felt it. I think it was just a matter of, like, I don't know, because I mean, it was like a brother to him, but at the same time, I think he also had like a parent figure too, because it's kind of like when you do something wrong and you really don't want to tell like your mom or your dad that you broke their favorite plant or something like that.
Their favorite plant.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just was trying to think. I was gonna say vase, but I just felt like that was too weird. Like, who has vases anymore? What's a boss? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Like, you broke their picture on the wall or something like that, and you're scared to tell them because you know you'll get in trouble, because you know what you were doing was against the rules. You were throwing a ball in the house and something broke.
This feels personal. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do it. God.
But he knew that he wasn't following the rules.
Yeah.
And he knew that if he told Obi-Wan that it wasn't, he couldn't tell him as a brother, that he'd be telling him as a mentor and as like a father figure, and then he would get in trouble for it and he would reap the consequences. So I don't think it was necessarily like he just doesn't feel the brotherly love anymore. I think it was still like this is still who's in charge. This is who my master is, and I know what he has to do if I tell him these things. Just like if you were to tell your mom or your dad that you were throwing a ball in the house and you broke their picture.
It wasn't me.
And then obviously you probably get grounded. You get in trouble. You might get some spankings. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
no.
It just depends. Like,
I can see that. I can definitely see that. So I guess that maybe helps us see where Anakin's mind was with Obi-Wan. In Obi-Wan's mind, they were brothers. In Anakin's mind, he was mentor. He was father, in a way, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah, so I can see that. Because actually, the next relationship to talk about, Palpatine. That's the one that I think that we see more of a friend and everything. Where he plays it off like he's mentor, but at the same time, he tells him all of the sweet things that he wants to hear in order to make him feel like, oh man, you know, Anakin, you're not being used to your potential. Like, I don't get why they're not sending you and they're sending this guy. Like, that doesn't make sense. And
right.
all that kind of stuff, kind of putting these seeds of hatred in him and resentment that ends up kind of snowballing down onto Obi-Wan and everybody. Because in everything that has been orchestrated, like, it even comes down to that at one point, the council is asking Obi-Wan to tell Anakin to spy on the Chancellor for him. And he's like, why? Anakin,
what?
Yeah.
Like, why would I do that?
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like, Anakin is just like, why are you asking me of this? Or asking me. Why are you asking this of me?
Why are you asking me of this? I mean, I wasn't even going to correct it because it just didn't sound wrong. I was like, yeah, he's on a roll.
But that's the thing, though, is that even Obi-Wan is saying, he says that it's not me asking you, it's the council.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not me. So, I mean, even he feels like this is crossing a line. And so, I don't know, like, Palpatine and Anakin is one that I still feel has a lot to be explored.
Yeah.
Especially with what we've learned about the potential of how Anakin came to be and things like that, possibly being the Force kid of Palpatine
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Just kind of seeing how much of his life was orchestrated and how much of it was actually, an actual life.
Right. I mean, because we don't want to get too much into Palpatine because we just did a really giant Palpatine episode.
That was fun.
It was. But I mean, Palpatine was really manipulative and, he was able to throw little things in there like, oh, I wonder why the Jedi would do that to you. Or, just kind of throw
the little aside comments that should mean nothing.
Right.
But they poke just right.
They do.
Just enough to hurt.
Just enough to question.
Right.
Like, Anakin questioned his relationship, his trust, his feelings, really and truly. Just to make him question everything. He really, and he's already really fragile, too. That's the worst part, is Anakin's already really fragile throughout the movies because he watches what happens to his mom, and then even in Clone Wars with Ahsoka, he's really fragile there because he's got people he cares about. And then when things start going kind of sideways and people are saying they don't trust Anakin to do this, and Anakin's not mature enough to do this, he doesn't even become master status, like, he just gets a lot of, like, things kind of thrown at him, like, where he's just not good enough, essentially. When he's told he's not good enough, he was given to slavery, essentially, or sold to slavery, told he's not good enough, and then they kick out his Padawan from the Jedi Order, like, and then on all this, he's got...
It's little chips in the foundation that just continue to build up over and over again, where he's just like, this is messed up. I don't want to be a part of this.
I feel lost.
Lost? What do you mean?
Obi-Wan and the Council don't trust me.
They trust you with their lives.
Something's happening. I'm not the Jedi I should be. I want more. And I know I shouldn't.
You expect too much of yourself.
I found a way to save you.
Save me?
From my nightmares.
Is that what's bothering you?
I won't lose you, Padme.
I'm not gonna die in childbirth, Annie. I promise you.
No, I promise you.
But moving forward, so I wanted to talk about Anakin and family, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think we've established that, I mean, at some point Anakin did feel Obi-Wan as family. Maybe not to the degree that Obi-Wan felt for Anakin. And maybe differently, I guess.
Well, definitely towards the end, Anakin definitely didn't feel that because at that point, Anakin had already turned to the dark side and already given himself to that darkness. So I don't think there were any feelings involved at that point, like, with Anakin. So for a minute there, he did. I think he thought of Obi-Wan as, a friend, brother, and a mentor.
No, definitely. And we learn also in the course of the story, obviously, I feel like it's common knowledge that he'll do anything for his family. I mean, he was willing to do anything for Padme, for Ahsoka, even when it came down for Luke and Leia.
With his mom.
With his mom, too.
He killed an entire Raider village because they kidnapped his mom and killed her. So...
He's like, I may have only killed maybe one or two of you if I'd have got her back alive.
Right. I just would have killed her in my way. But,
right.
But she died in my arms, so...
Yeah. And he's not good at dealing with a loss.
No. He's
or,
not.
Emotion.
I had a dream about you.
But as far as just kind of... there's really no into what Anakin will do. I wanted to ask, though, so by the end of Revenge of the Sith, so we know that his pursuit of power starts as trying to save Padme. Because at this point, because we know Ahsoka's in the mix too, or was, he doesn't have anyone left. He doesn't feel like he can trust Obi-Wan. Ahsoka's left the Order, and it's just him and Padme. And now he's having dreams about Padme dying in childbirth.
Which is scary because he dreamt his mother dying and then it came to pass.
Right. Which I also wonder Palpatine did all that. But anyways, that's something else. That would be, yeah. So, I mean, I wonder, too, because it's interesting because he essentially caused the dream to come true.
Yeah.
Because of the path he took. It didn't have to be that way. But in the succession of everything he did, it caused that to happen the way it did.
Right.
So it's almost like he caused his own downfall.
I mean, in a way he did. I mean, you know, because I don't know. It's so we're trying to like play with the future. I feel like is very difficult.
Well, I mean, even Yoda says always in motion is the future.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's the thing. That was what's kind of crazy about it, because even in Clone Wars, we get the father, son, and the daughter, and the father even says like multiple times that the future's not set in stone, that the future can be changed, and that's around the same time when we see Anakin's future. Anakin obviously doesn't remember because he gets a little like brainwipey thing or whatever, so he doesn't remember that he's going to turn into this monstrous villain. Yeah, but you know, that's one of the biggest things throughout Star Wars is the future is ever changing, but you don't know what path you take that leads to that future that you've seen. So Anakin honestly believed that he was taking the best path to save Padme. Yeah. In turn, he obviously did not. Yeah. But he thought that was his only way.
In preventing it, he caused it.
Yes. Yeah. In thinking that he could prevent it, he caused it.
Absolutely. So, and I do wonder too. So, because I mean, obviously, the pursuit of power started out with him trying to save Padme. So, by the end, when he had actually was like my new empire and all this other kind of stuff, ran like a madman on Mustafar, in Revenge of the Sith. Do you feel like his motives were still pure, or had he become blinded by that power, and it was no longer about Padme?
I think he had mostly become blinded. I don't think he had completely forgotten about Padme, because obviously he wasn't willing to throw Padme to the side at that point. Like, he did include her.
I mean, he literally threw Padme to the side. He picked her up, choked her, and...
It's not what I meant. Thank you for that, though. I knew you were going to do something like that. But I meant, like, he wasn't like, goodbye, woman, I'm going to rule my empire.
That's true.
Is what I meant. Like, he still was including her. He still had not forgotten about her. Yeah. Like, he still wanted her...
be a part of my mad dream.
Life. Yeah, but Padme, being the little sweet soul she was, she didn't want that. Like, she was not about that power. She was about, like, democracy. And everyone having a say in... like government, essentially, in a way. So I'm not good with the terms. I know there's a term for like that type of government.
Well, yeah, democracy.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was it.
Democracy, the Senate, all that kind of stuff. She was in favor of the people having a voice.
Yeah,
and everything. It's interesting because I mean, it's almost like a physical symbolism. When she died, so did democracy. And then that's when the empire took hold.
Yeah. Wow, Danny, that was deep.
Oh, I don't know. I have my moments. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I mean, and that's something that I struggle with from time to time, when, especially in watching that, because yes, he was overcome with rage. Yes, he was not in his right mind. He was poisoned by power at that point, because it was almost like it was within his grasp.
And it was like surging through him. I feel like at that point, it was
absolutely, because he had given way to something that he had only slightly tasted before.
Right.
And he gave himself to it, and it was just everything, which I feel is part of what led him to physically assault her, to be honest.
Yeah.
For him to just all of a sudden turn around, because he immediately associated her with betrayal.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan come walking down and everything. And I don't know, like, you've really got to not be in your right mind for that.
Right. I mean, you got to think of the Anakin before, and he would have never, like, even thought bad thoughts of Padme. Like, she would betray him in any form or fashion.
Right. It was always both of them against the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you gotta, I mean, yeah, obviously the power was definitely in his head, and, you know, the
The dark side really poisoned him.
Yeah, it did. It gave him really insecure thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, I mean, the second that he had power, he was worried that it would be taken away. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't going to allow that to happen because the way he would save Padme was through this power he had just attained.
Exactly.
So, yeah. It's a twisted view.
It is.
It's very twisted because it did not come across that way at all. This is like, as she's being force-choked, I'm only helping. So let's talk about when Anakin meets Luke for the first time. When he finds out he's got a son.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So how do you feel like that changed Vader's outlook? Because, I mean, he goes from this faceless villain that's just horrifying to all of a sudden he's a father.
I mean, I feel like it was a little bit of a struggle because, I mean, you have Vader who's probably been, without something he cares about really and truly for 16 years-ish, give or take. I don't know how old Luke was when all that happened.
19, actually.
Okay, just kidding then. 19 years.
Oh, same age as Rey. Huh.
I thought you knew this already. You let me know.
I probably did. I always have like these revelations over and over again. Like I forget them and I'm like, it happened. Oh wait, what?
Exactly.
It's like watching Star Wars for the first time over and over again.
Whatever.
Where am I again? No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. So, I mean, you had Vader who's been in this role for about 20 years thinking he's just lost everything. And we learned, too, throughout the comics that he's still desperate for Padme. Like, because he even goes in this, like, creepy time warp thing. And the next...
the dark side nexus of the Force.
And attempts to see if she's alive. Because Palpatine tells Anakin after everything's over that you killed her. Essentially. Like, she...
Oh, yeah. In your anger, you killed her. She was alive.
Right. And she gave birth, but I was not told either.
Right.
So, he was still desperate to figure out if Padme could be brought back, essentially. If that was an option. And then he learns 19 years down the road that she gave birth.
The twins survived. Yeah.
Yeah, well, does he know about both of them or just knows about one?
He just knows that she's pregnant. Didn't know that there were two of them.
Well, yeah, I know. But I'm saying, like, when he learns that Luke is his son, he just learns about one at a time, doesn't he? Or does he learn about both of them, that he has two kids? I can't remember.
I think it's Return of the Jedi, he learns about Leia. Because that's when he's taunting Luke, fighting in front of the Emperor. He's taunting Luke, and he's like, a sister, and everything. And that's when Luke's like, no! Just goes nuts on him.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't think he actually learns about Leia until Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Like officially, I guess.
But I mean, so essentially though, this whole time Vader was desperate, to get answers about Padme to see if he could bring her back, and then he learns that there's still a piece of her. His children.
Oh man, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Man, you're breaking my heart.
I'm sorry.
Because I mean, in all honesty, yeah, it's in the pursuit. It's still in the pursuit of Padme. There's a piece of her out there.
So he obviously fought it. I mean, he cut off his own son's hand. And fought him a few times. Threw a bunch of cargo at him.
Of course, as fathers and sons do.
Right?
Yeah.
Typical father-son relationship. I just remember, I want to watch that scene because I just remember that made me laugh really hard the last time we watched it, and I realized Vader was just like chunking stuff at Luke, and it was just kind of like, stop it, dude! Like, I want to watch it.
I just want to go out with my friends,
right? I said not today. Get out there and clean your room. I can't. Okay. So yeah, and so I think obviously at the end of it, he decides that because Palpatine kind of gives him the ultimatum, like, you join us or you die. And Vader's kind of with it for a minute, and I think it finally just kind of clicks with him, like, oh my god, these are my children. Like, this is a piece of Padme. Like, these are my children.
Yeah.
And he
has a chance at a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only legacy too, but I mean for something better than him, I guess, to live on. I think he had that like revelation that Because, I mean, I feel like I can't feel like I can say this as a parent because I'm not a parent, but I know my goals when I am a parent is for my kids to be better than me. And I feel like that's most parents' goals. Like, you always want your children to be better than you. Like, you want them to have more than you, be better than you. And so I think that was kind of like a thought he may have had, is like he can leave something better behind for his kids.
I just thought about it too, because in Return of the Jedi, when Luke and Vader are facing down and everything, Palpatine is basically trying to see who will be his next apprentice. So one of them are going to die. So essentially he's telling Vader to kill his son. And so I wonder if that's what set in eventually, because I mean, once Vader can't hack it, Palpatine is like, you know what, whatever, and he starts electrocuting Luke, and then that's when Vader decides to take action. Yeah. And throws him, like, suplexes him down a reactor shaft.
You like to say that.
I like to say that
every time we talk about it.
It's a cool visual in my head. It's a cool visual in my head. Just Vader taking just. But anyways.
Ridiculous is what you are.
I know. But you love me.
I do. I make that choice every day.
You do. But yeah, so I'd be interested to kind of be in Vader's head in those moments when he finds out that there's more, because I know there is a comic where it happens between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, the main Star Wars Marvel line, where Boba is the one who brings the news that he has a son. And not in so many words, but he comes up to him and he's like, well, what did you learn of the boy and all that kind of stuff on Tatooine? And he's like, his name is Skywalker. And then Boba leaves, and then I think in that panel, Vader says, "I have a son," and then he busts the glass, or like cracks the glass right in front of him and everything, because it's just like another lie he's been told by Palpatine, is that he had no one. Yeah. That Palpatine was all he had. But he's got family now.
Yeah, I mean, he's believed that for multiple years, that he had nobody left. Like, he lost everything. And I think that's what really cemented him into the dark side so much, too. Is
there was no way out.
To live for.
This is all I have left.
Right, because he joined it trying to save Padme, and in turn killed her.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
I completely agree. But in continuing with Mr. Anakin's legacy, so the legacy that he left on Ahsoka. You got thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this before too. The last time we had like a really big discussion about Ahsoka and Anakin's like relationship, and so I don't want to like spend too long talking about it, but we kind of just discussed the ways of like how we think Anakin wouldn't have turned out the way he was if Ahsoka wouldn't have left the Jedi Order. But I mean, I don't blame her, because obviously I think she made the right decision, obviously, because of what happened. But it's just weird to think about like how different everything could have been.
Well, I mean, and if he would have followed the example of his Padawan, then Anakin may have been better for it too.
But I do feel like even the Ahsoka we see in like Rebels and in hopefully Clone Wars soon.
It should be in Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the new one too.
Yeah, season 7. Yeah, she was in the trailer. Remember, she turns around.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I need to watch it again. But mostly the Ahsoka that we see in Rebels too. I feel like you still see a lot of the teachings that she was taught from Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, she still took a lot of it to heart. And she, to a certain point, she just believes Anakin was murdered by Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well, and the most heartbreaking for me is when it's in the World Between Worlds episode in Rebels, where she tells Ezra, "I couldn't save my master, you can't save yours."
Yeah.
And everything. It's just like, because you can feel the pain in that.
Yeah.
How much she wanted to save Anakin and hope that he was still there. But he wasn't. And he had become more machine than man. And she realized that he was gone. And so I think in that, I still hold by that if he had followed her example and left the Order, and Padme and all of them just left, just forget everybody, forget the commitments, forget all this stuff. It's already gone to crap already. Just go. Just be you, learn the Force, and don't worry about all this. But it was like there were tethers holding all of them in somewhere, where Padme was held by expectation and all of the things that she had to do to fight, to win, to get all these things right for the Senate to hold democracy. Anakin's was that I've committed to being a Jedi. I have to do this thing. What else is there? There's not life outside of here and things like that.
The life he knew was sad.
Right. There wasn't much for him. But Ahsoka decided that, you know what? I don't know what's out there, but I gotta go. And
I mean, it's better than being somewhere where you were not necessarily mistreated, but in a way, like...
In a way, she was, though. Because, I mean, like, they straight up were like, hey, yeah, by the way, you killed that chick.
Yeah, so we're going to dismiss you.
Exactly. She's like, I didn't, but I didn't. Like, and then they want to kill me now. Like, I'm getting the death penalty and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, this is stupid.
You'd never be looked at the same anyway.
Exactly.
You'd be just a rumor around.
You'd be the one that, yeah, exactly. Everyone would look at you with sideways glances and always whisper, and it wouldn't be a life. Yeah. You know? So she made the right decision for her, and if Anakin had followed suit, I think that would have been a good decision for him.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's not how the story goes.
Nope, exactly not. So then we also have none other than Ben Solo / Kylo Ren, which we see, obviously, I wish we knew a little bit more about what he knew about Papa Vader, because he obviously has his helmet, but I want to know if his parents told him about that, or if Snoke told him, and Snoke may have, like, delivered the helmet thinking,
So I don't know how he got the helmet. I think that it was Snoke. I don't know that that's anything been official, though, as far as like how he got it. How he found out, though, or I guess how it's assumed, because it's talked about in Bloodline, where it comes out that Vader was Leia, because she's still a Senate official at this point. She's a politician, essentially.
Yeah.
Before she becomes general and goes off with the Resistance. It comes out through the HoloNet that Vader is related to Leia, and that's Vader's daughter and everything. And she tries to get that out to Ben before he finds out, but he is off training with Uncle Luke, so she doesn't get to him quick enough. So yeah.
Can we just talk about double standards for a second?
Let's talk about it.
I just thought about something.
Okay.
I'll try not to go on too big of a rant, but I just thought about something.
I like your rants, though.
I kind of want to know what kind of reaction was given to her when they were, like, everyone knew. Mm-hmm. Because obviously Vader was something. Mm-hmm. Like, he was pretty scary. He was someone you didn't want to meet in the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not even in the day.
Rogue One.
Not even in the day.
Not even with the lights on.
But thank you for saying that anyway. Because in Rogue One, all I can think about is Jen's reaction she got when she was discovered as Urso's daughter. They were like, that traitor. He built the Death Star. Why would we trust you? They were wary of her because of who she was and her name. Mm-hmm. And then even more wary that he would be lying in order to compromise the rebels as well. So I'm wondering if Leia was met with that much, like, hostility, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine quite a lot, because, I mean,
like,
this
your
man...
father's destroyed the universe, essentially.
Multiple lives.
Yeah, families' lives. Like, your father is probably the main reason why I'm here, because I've been in the fight since I was 7 years old. Like... You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Now, that would be interesting, because as far as, like, seeing with the New Republic and stuff like that, I haven't read Bloodlines. That's one that I do want to read, because I've heard that it's got a lot of insight into the New Republic and the Resistance, and kind of really a lot of the aftermath of when everybody finds out who Vader was to Leia and everything. And then it's got a little bit to do with Kylo. But, I mean, I would be interested to know really what all happened with that and how she was treated and everything. I don't imagine it was a warm welcome in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, and that's the thing, is that I feel like Kylo would have held that against her. And that would have been one more thing that Snoke would have used to be like, oh yeah, they couldn't even be bothered to tell you, man.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't want to even tell you that you're the lineage of Darth Vader and everything. And so it's just kind of like it's the Palpatine complex all over again, feeding into his insecurities and all this other kind of stuff and putting his teeth in them.
Snoke was a little different to me because he was like, take that ridiculous thing off.
Well, at that point.
And that's not something Palpatine ever would have said to Anakin. Well, not.
Well, I mean, he did tell him that if he ever touched him with the Force again, he'd kill him. Or he'd finish what Obi-Wan couldn't.
That's that's just asserting his power to me. That wasn't like like, I feel like Snoke was more belittling Kylo more so than he was trying to
build him up. It was more tearing him down.
Yeah, because, you know, he kept telling him that he was small and weak and he couldn't. Yeah. He couldn't, like, he couldn't finish the job, like, killing his father, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then when he wore that helmet and stuff, he was like, take that ridiculous thing off. Essentially, he was just always tearing him down. Mm-hmm. And he could feel his like fight with the good and the bad, like the dark and light.
Oh yeah, I one of the lines that I love where Kylo's staring down Snoke and everything, and he's like, "I killed Han Solo. When the moment came, I didn't hesitate." And then Snoke comes back with, "Yeah, and the deed splits you to the bone." Yeah. It's just like, ooh, jeez. He's like, "Calm down, little boy."
Right, like you didn't do it because you wanted to.
Right.
Like,
absolutely. So yeah, but I mean, in summation, the Skywalker family is a mess.
Yeah.
They're a mess, and Anakin, yeah. Yeah.
Side note, I have another topic I want to talk to you about in a minute, but I don't want to do it on the podcast.
Okay. All right.
So let's finish up.
But yeah, so I think it's cool kind of looking at how Anakin affected everyone around him and everything, and in more than just the ways that we physically see.
Yeah.
The ties that he has to a lot of the people, how even after Ahsoka knows that Vader's gone, I still feel like there's more to that as far as how she feels about him and stuff like that. And so I wonder if she makes that separation in her head now too. Of Anakin and Vader. That wasn't Anakin and everything. I wonder if she does that or if she's accepted it that way. That could be interesting to see. So
true.
I don't know, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Very excited to see what comes of that and everything. But yeah, so guys, after all this Anakin talk, make sure you jump on Battlefront 2. Come hang out with us at Kessel Run Weekly. Gamer tag. I guess there's not an at with a gamer tag. I'm very sorry. Habit. Force of habit.
You're ridiculous.
But yes, gamertag Kessel Run Weekly on Xbox. And we'll be playing The Chosen One.
Woo woo.
Yes, very exciting. So Kristen, you want to close us out?
Yeah, so thank you everyone for listening or watching another episode of Kessel Run Weekly. If you enjoyed this episode or any of our previous episodes, please go and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you leave us a 5-star review, we will read it on a future episode. We love the reviews. We love the questions too. So keep giving us the questions or the comments or anything you want to know or discuss. I mean, it can be a discussion topic if you want us to, talk about, if you want us to go deeper into Anakin or talk about more about Palpatine or have an Ahsoka episode, anything like that, just let us know on our website, or you can let us know through Instagram, Facebook, any of our
definitely
social media platforms.
We've got a lot of exciting things in the works.
We do.
With our friends Cheyenne and Anna, who have officially joined our Kessel Run Weekly team. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe.
Yeah.
So that way you don't miss a thing.
Exactly.
But you can also find us on social media at Kessel Run Weekly on Instagram, Facebook, and Le Twitter, and on our website kesselrunweekly.com. We have a little subscription box on our website too, which is kind of cool. Like, you can subscribe to the website, so anytime we post a new episode and it goes live on the website, you get an email that says, "Hey, by the way, coolness has happened." So so definitely do that if you so choose. Also, to let you guys know, next week we will be releasing our episode one day early for our celebration of Rebels Remembered. So I'm sure a lot of you may have seen the hashtag kind of pulled around and everything. We're going to be talking about our favorite Rebels moments for March 5th. So definitely watch for that. and it's going to be exciting.
Yep.
Yay. So cool, guys. So, and until next time, my name is Danny.
And I'm Kristen.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.